Stitchy friends, how are you all? So I'm excited about this because I did this over on my Facebook group page, whatever it is, a while ago, probably a year ago, maybe more, and it went down a storm. But since I've sort of thought about coming on to YouTube, I need to redo it because the Facebook it's a different angle. You know, we need it wide lens and landscape and Facebook portrait and all that, so I can't, it's not very good to use that video. So I thought, right, it's okay, I'm going to come back on and make some more, and I am going to make some of these little tiny Easter eggs and pop them in a nest. I've just looked at this one and it's got the most adorable little bees on it. I don't know whether or not you'll see that. Oh gosh, some bullion knots. Ooh. It's even got a press stud on it. Beads, fly stitch, running stitches, lazy daisies, more beads, bit of a buttonhole wheel with beads in. Can't have enough beads, sequins, bullions. So I'm going to show you how to make these little Easter eggs. I mean, I'm going with a green colour simply because I've got a blue, a pink and a purpley colour, lilac-y colour, and I've got together all this stuff that's in that kind of colour range. I've got some PEARLEs and some sheep ears, and then I've got these yarn, textured yarns. So bit of fabric, I think that's a little bit of Liberty, or might not be. No, it's not, just a little bit of cotton. So going off on a different tangent, got some beads as well. So over on the website you'll see there's a tab along the top that says freebies, and this pattern is up there on the freebies pattern, and I'm going to use this tiny one. I'm just going to cut out my shape. I know I ought to have cut it out before, but just wanted to show you that the patterns. I mean, you can draw your own shape. It's not rocket science, but for those of you who are artistically challenged, there's a lot of us out there. You might want to use this pattern as a base, which is absolutely fantastic and brilliant. So you will want to cut out 4 of these on your fabric, but word of warning, don't cut them out yet. Place them on and draw them round, draw around. Because I might actually stick a little pin in that just for just so it doesn't move around, and I can, let's have a little, I'm going to do it that way. Just pop a pin in while I draw around. Yeah, if I do if you cut them out, trying to stitch on these is going to be one heck of a struggle. So my suggestion to you is draw around them and leave them in situ. And the reason I know this is because I've done it. I've cut them out and thought, oh yeah, that's a bit awkward. So you want 4 pieces. I will go, I think I'll go up there with one. This is one of those heat erase pens, by the way. Not that it's going to really matter because I'll be cutting it out, but for those people that usually ask me what I'm using, it's a heat erase, friction heat erase pen, and they are very good. But one thing I will say about them is be careful, because they do come back if they're exposed to extreme temperatures. So that's that done, and you won't need a great big I'm going to cut that off because I want to save that for something else. Obviously you won't need a great big load of stuff, but of course, as in true Rachel fashion, I have got the world's amount. I even found some little tiny buttons which I'm going to pop on first, because if I don't, they'll be gone off in a different place. I'm going to use a bit of, oh, actually I might go a more limey kind of colour, not that, just for yeah. Oh, this is variegated anyway, so I'm going to use that side of it, snip that off and use that on a different bit. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all tangled. So let's find a needle. I was all excited and got myself all threads, needles threaded, but obviously I change my mind every time. Can't see what I'm doing. Wonderful. So I'm going to, on one, I'm going to put my I'm going to put my buttons on. Oh my gosh. Right. Okay. Just put one up through. So I'm going to embellish, embroider, whatever, each bit separately, and then I'm going to stitch them all together with and pop a little bit of stuff in him. Oh. Just come up. Find that I've actually come through the knot on the back of there, which is not a good idea. I'm just going to move those scissors out of the way so I don't, because they felt like they got a bit of glue on them, and I don't want it on my thread. So just a couple of stitches will do. I'll pop that one on. Oh, see what I mean? These are so tiny. Ouch! Oh dear me. I was listening to my son having a chat with the guy from the passport office today. So my son needed his first passport because he's got to the grand old age of 32 and he hasn't had his own passport, and I don't know why. I think it's just that when he was little he was on one of our passports, and then we just never sort of took them, we never took them abroad after where they were little when they needed their own passport. We always went camping or we had a caravan, and so anyway, long story short, so he needed he's decided that he wants to go off to my brother's, who lives in France and in the Limoges region, in his van that he's converting to a camper van. So he needs a passport, and basically, if you in the UK, if you need a new passport, if you need the first time passport, you have to have an interview. So I could hear him on this Zoom call with the guy from the passport office, and I've forgotten what I was talking about. Oh yeah, and I've suddenly forgot what the point of my ramble was. Oh dear. And he was saying about, I could hear him discussing what I did all day, basically, for a living. And I heard my son say, well, she seems to be talking to herself an awful lot in a room by herself. Which made me laugh out loud. Because that's what I'm doing. Oh dear. But in fairness, the guy on the other end of the call, he was quite interested in what I was doing. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. What does your mum do for a living? She sits in a room by herself talking to herself. So yes, anyway, that's what it just made me laugh that here I am again talking to myself. Right, okay, back on track, on task, and I'm just doing some tiny little chain stitches. I'm just gonna there's no rhyme or reason to anything that I'm doing, by the way. I'm just stitching. I'm just wanting to get some stitches in. You can do these I mean, to be fair, you could leave this as is and not put any embellishments on at all, but that's not the Rachel way, is it? That is definitely not the Rachel way. And somebody will say to me, is embroidery slow stitching? And I always say yes, because it's, for me, slow stitches what is something that you're doing in the moment, and whether it's taking you a long time, months on end, years on end, or it might only take you an afternoon or an hour or two. But if it's something that you're sort of in the moment with, then yes, I think it is slow stitching. And I'm going to put a little leaf on there. Well, what stylized leaf? I've sort of done it upside down, haven't I? This is it. There's no thought process for me. There's no forethought with a slow stitch. It is literally just stitching for the fun of it. No purpose to it other than it makes me feel good and I like it. I was in a cafe waiting for my daughter. I think I might have already said this. And I was listening, I was stitching away, listening to people chatting. He was really busy, this cafe, and I was listening to people's conversations, and I sort of, you know how you sort of tune into particular things? Well, my ears pricked up because I got to hear them talking about me, basically, sewing, and wanted, you know, they were wondering, they were saying that it's something they've not done since they've been to school. And I sort of sat there minding my own business but eavesdropping, and as they sort of gathered their bits and bobs to go out, they had to come past me to leave the cafe. So I said to them, oh, you know, I do a YouTube channel, and there's lots of different stitches and things that you can do on there. I'd love it if you came and had a little look. So if you're watching, those two lovely ladies that they were in the cafe in Edwinstowe, which by the way is the home of the Robin Hood, the Major Oak and Robin Hood, Nottinghamshire. Hello, and I hope you're going to enjoy this. So I'm going to stop there, or am I? Yes, I am. Oh my gosh, this is the trouble I have. I never know when to stop. I'm just going to do a bit of a... And also, I will say, please don't judge yourself on the back of your work. We're not the Royal School of Needlework. For me, mistakes on the back and knots on the back are just as beautiful as the front. Right, you probably can't see that very well. Just have a little look to see if you can. Maybe, but it's just that is the simplest kind of stitch I've done. So I'm going to grab some of this, and I'm back in with the this little fringing. Blooming love it. I love these yarn hanks. They are super interesting. You get all kinds of different things in them, and there's such a great addition to our shop now. I love them, love them. Yeah, so shameless plug, you can buy them over in the shop. I'm going to put that on down the middle. I'm going to couch it down, but I'm going to try and make it stand up and put some beads on either side, but I'm going to put the beads on first. And I don't think I have got a beading needle. Oh, I have. I've got beading needles. Just bear with me a second. Let me have a little look. Will you do... Oh, that one's a bit long. I'll use this one that's a little bit bent, but it'll do. It will do. And I'm going to find some thread, which I saw I had some beading thread. What have I done with it? Oh, come to me. Where are you? Oh, I do this every time, don't I? I sit down and think, oh, there's that, and then I can't find it. Right, we'll just use some, use a bit of silk. We'll use a bit of silk thread. Oops, just hit me. I hope you weren't whacked on the head. Oh my gosh, will I be able to thread that because it's at a weird angle? Yeah. Oh, well done, Rach. Right. So I'm going to put some beads on. Oh, hello, Gertrude. Please don't jump into the camera. I'm going to just... Hello. You're back. I know. I always sort of say lay the bead in the direction you're going, but it's quite difficult when you don't really know what direction you are going to go. Hello. No. Go away. Go away. Oh, she just wafted her tail straight and hit me in the eye. Oh dear, I don't like that one on there. Hello. I know, you want me to stroke you, don't you? You want me to stroke you? Don't like those blue ones. Just a minute. Oh dear. I picked up this thinking they'd be quite green, but they aren't. They're quite blue now I'm looking at them. Which sounds bizarre, doesn't it? I've got quite a bit of a mix of each colour in. That blue. Are we going with that? I'm gonna... Yes, Gertrude. I will stroke you. I was talking to my daughter about her and saying, because Heather does a lot of the editing on the videos, and I was saying, I want, you know, do you think we should edit her out? But we decided not. That wasn't something that we were going to do. But it's like when she wants me to stroke her, so she's pulling her paw in to get me to look. She's got to be there, which is comical. I know. I say there's no rhyme or reason to where I'm putting things, but I'm trying. Oh, Gertie. I'm trying to sort of pick out the colours that I really like, that are going with it. I was going to put that on it, wasn't I? I'm not going to now, I'm just covering it in beads. See what I mean? It gets... I start off on one thing and go on to a completely different thing. So there's no plan. I just get a lot of stuff out. What have I got there? I'm just going to tip a few more out because I feel like I've not got enough out of there. Ooh, shall I put a gold one on? No. I know that one's a bit bigger, but I like the colour of it. So yes, I've had an eventful day today. Actually, I've done lots and lots of work, as in stitching. I've not been anywhere, which is nice, because sometimes if I have to go out and about, I don't get my stitching started until late, and then sometimes I'm really not in the mood to do it. Do we think one of those big ones there? Yeah. You settled down now then? Good. And Reggie's fast asleep on the settee downstairs with the log burner going. Because even though it's warmed up slightly, it's still not quite warm enough not to have some heat. Right, I'm going to leave it at that. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to stitch some little seed stitches around and about it, just because I like this thread. You might not be able to see these stitches, it's a bit Well, you won't, definitely won't now. Gertrude, off you go. I know one or two people do comment, but I can't get any closer without it blurring. Oh dear, Gertrude. Ouch. Oh, hello, I know. Oh. And as I move my arm up towards the camera, it tends to blur it out a bit, so hence I'll try to be as steady as I can with it. Not move quick. Oh my gosh. Not move too quickly. So, right, I've added a few little stitches in that. I'll see if I can show you. Maybe you can't because it's green on green. I've not really done the best, have I? But you get the idea. You get the idea of what I'm doing. Oh, I'll do a double knot. And this time I'll keep that thread on, and I am going to couch this down. So we're coming in here, and actually I think I'll start at the top and do a bit of a so couching, if you're not familiar with the word, with that, oh, so I need to put a knot in the end, is where you get a something. This happens to be a piece of like little yarn with tassel on, and you lay it onto the fabric, and then you come up one side and then over, and then stitch it back, go back down, and you're sort of securing it down. I want to come up there as well, just because it's going to stick up if I don't. So that's what couching is, and you can couch down virtually anything. Bits of wire, bits of twig, any kind of yarn, thread. And I tend to come up and over. Lots of people will do it in different ways, but this is just my preferred method because I can have more control of where I'm going with the stitch. And I always try to make my stitches as tiny as possible because I want it to be about this and not the stitch. Gertrude's eating her dinner now. Ooh. So you're going to take your thread for a little wander, and metallic threads are great for couching down, because when you do a metallic, try to sew with the metallic thread, or you do sew with the metallic thread, it starts to disintegrate the thread quite quickly because the fibres start to break down. So couching them down is a great way of using them. I think it is a metallic one that has been couched. It's a great way of using them, that so that they're not being, so the fibres aren't disintegrating. Ooh. I want to come up again. I absolutely love this little tassel-y yarn, fibre, textile. I'm not quite sure what colour in it. I'm going to come back up and tuck that up there. I do love it. I'm coming back along because I don't want to cut that little bit off because it would be lost in the realms of the craft room. I call this a craft room and I don't know why, because I don't do crafts in it, I just stitch. I think it's just a habit that I've got into. Oops, Stitch Studio maybe. Maybe that's what I should call it, Stitching Studio. Took that up. It is quite cute. We're having a wash now, are we, Gertrude? Honestly. There we go. Just passing that off. And I'm going to do on my next one, I'm going to do my favourite let's have a, and I'm going to do some bullion knots. I'm going to use this variegated thread. Oh, shall I use something off here that is a little bit more? Don't know whether that'll work on a, let's give it a whirl because it's got a bit of a texture to it. And it might do, ooh, right, we can give it a try. So for bullion knots, I always use a milliner's needle, or a, might be called straws, or you can sometimes even get them called bullion needles, but be wary, they are usually just straws or milliner's needles. Milliner's needles and straws are the same thing. But you might be sort of led to believe that a bullion needle is something different. Well, it's not. It's literally just the same. Just get rid of that a moment. Just put the lid on just in case Gertrude decides that that's going on. So I'll explain about a milliner's needle. That's not one. Milliner's needles are straight all the way down, the shaft straight all the way down, and this is why the eye doesn't go out like on an ordinary needle, like that sort of flares out. They stay straight, so when you're doing a knot, especially a bullion knot, you can pull them through and it doesn't get stuck on the at the eye of the needle. So right, bullion, let's do some bullions. Gertrude, you are a nuisance. So you're going to come up, down, take a stitch, and then you're going to come up next to the first bit where you came up. Gertie, no. And then what we're going to do is going to wrap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll have that back. And I want to wrap my thread around the needle, sorry everyone, around the needle till it's the same length as the stitch you've taken. I'm going to come put a couple of extra stitches in 1, 2. And then what you're going to do is you hold on to the wraps and pull and sort of wiggle the needle through the wraps and keep on pulling. Now this is a bit, because it's a bit textured, it's wanting to knot, so it doesn't want to do it. So not the best example, but it's working. Yeah, it's because it's textured, it's trying to knot itself up. That's not very good. I've done it. Got a little noose knot in it. So I can now let go of my threads, my wraps, and keep on pulling. And gently pull and wiggle. Pull and wiggle. Pull and wiggle. Until I've got all my wraps on that. And I've got some thread stuck on it as well. Oh, I'm not going to worry. Let's go. That's probably what was knotting it. And then I'm going to go back down next to where I came up, just to secure it. Yeah, I don't like this thread. Can you see it's trying to, wind up on itself, so I'm gonna get a better thread. We have, you know, these are the things you always have to have a go. Get a better thread and another needle. Bullions, and if they are not bullions, straws, and they will come in various different sizes. And my go-to is usually a number 4. I think somebody did ask me in the comments, they were going to order some, and they got a bit confused of what size. So my favourite's a number 4, but usually they'll come in a pack of various, and I can't get this through now. Gertrude, she's intently watching. I've just checked to see if you can see me and not just Gertrude. Yes. Oh dear. She gets so involved. So yeah, back to the needles. They'll probably come in a variety of sizes, so don't worry about it. So we're going to come up, take a stitch, and then come back up next to where you came up the first time. We're then going to wrap a thread around the needle till it's the same length as your little stitch you've taken, and then hold on to the thread, the wraps, push your needle up, and as you're pulling, twist twist your needle, get nudged by the cat, and keep pulling. That's better, isn't it? Pearl cotton, good old pearl cotton. Or cotton pearl, whichever way around, and just then pull and wiggle, and it tightens the knots up, the wraps up, and makes like a little caterpillar. And then you want to go back down there. Hello, Gert. Hello. She singed a whisker, didn't you, on the candle, being nosy as always. So I'm just going to get lots and lots of bullions in here. And that's why I like a variegated thread when I'm doing bullions, because you can pack them in together and you don't have to keep changing your thread colour. It does it for you. Oh gosh, no, go over there. You have several beds around this house. Several, madam. My worry is that she'll decide that she wants to swipe me. I've got more little nips where she's bitten me or scratched me. See what I mean? I'm a bit concerned that she's gonna quickly move out the way. Right, okay, let's move you out the way. See what I mean? She just got me then. But I'm used to her because she oh, sorry, I didn't mean to shout. In fear of my own life is not for Gertrude. She gets told off a lot. Yeah. I'm just going to come back up there with a stitch. And the longer you make them, more wraps you need to do. So that's a longer stitch. So I'm going to do more wraps. Keep going. Hold your thread, give it a wiggle, pull it down. I'm now covered in cat hair. Where's my little rolly thing? Because it's absolutely covered in cat hairs. Sorry everyone. Oh dear. So pull back down next to it. Obviously you can do this in any kind of thread, thick, thin, but the textured thread that I've just used didn't like it. So, and the more wraps you put on, the more pronounced the knot becomes and stands off the fabric more. But I will show you something if I can see. Oh no, hold on, come back. Just tighten your knots, give them a little bit of a stroke and a bit of a poke, just to do that. I'm just going to try and find some something that has got bullion knots on that's interesting, because you can do like a bullion rose, and these are made up of bullion knots, so they're quite interesting to do. I won't be doing that on here, obviously. I can just hear Harvey coming in, talking to the dog. I keep saying I'm going to get one of those on-air lights, because I have to either stop filming or just carry on and edit it out, which is a bit of a nuisance, because I like to do things in real time. I don't like too many edits, because I just feel like it's real life going on, and I don't particularly like to watch videos of people doing things that aren't real time. I like it to be real time. I like people to be chatting in them, and I suppose that's my, they say, don't they, you attract your tribe kind of thing, and I think it's true. Of, I can't watch these speed, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're okay, the speeded up things are okay, they have their place, and I do them for the Instagram, for the gram, you know, when you're doing a little sort of intro kind of thing, but when I'm watching a tutorial, I like to see it in real time, and I like people to be talking to me, or I feel like people are talking to me. Maybe I'm on that by myself on that, and maybe you guys are all shouting, "Oh, please do be quiet, Rachel." But that's me. Keep twisting. I was watching my brother and sister-in-law. They have a YouTube channel, and I was watching them pruning their fruit trees because they've got a nursery garden over in France. And if you are a member of my not member, if you do subscribe to my Facebook, you'll see little snippets of when I go over on missions of foraging for lace and linens and things. Right, okay, so I've done, that's me done, and I'm going to cut out my little egg shapes. Did I get my big head in the way then? I felt something pushing me, but there's nothing there, which has sort of freaked me out a little bit. I don't know. Oh dear. So yeah, cut all my little pieces out with the not the best scissors to be snipping away with, to be fair. Because these are literally for embroidery, for snipping my threads and not cutting out fabric. I've got a tune in my head that's driving me nuts. I'm not going to sing it. Don't worry, I won't put you through that. I save all the little bits that I snip off because they come in handy for various different things. Just put it over there. 1, 2. Last one. Don't worry if you're not going right up to the line. Oh gosh, am I on camera? Let me just check, because Gertrude knocked me off. Oh no. Thank goodness for that. I just suddenly thought, oh, did she knock the camera, and now you're looking at my messy room. When I say it's messy, it's just got stuff out that I use. Right, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to just stitch these together, and I don't know quite clearly, they have a base and a top, which is slightly wider at the bottom. Let's just move you. And I'm going to stitch them up with a bit of cotton PEARLE. But I feel like I want to put a pin in it. Let's get you. I'm going to go base to tip. Just going to pin it, just so it doesn't move round. And I'm just going to whip stitch this. You can do blanket stitch, you can do whatever you want, you can do a running stitch, but I'm literally just going to whip stitch it over. because it's quickest. And Gertrude here is getting in the way as per usual. Let's get rid of that a minute. I think she's gone to pester Reggie, who will be snoozing away downstairs, minding his own business. It's funny really, because over a year that I've been videoing, recording, obviously Reggie's grown up slightly. He's now 2, and in the first year, at the beginning of the first year that I was stitching, he would come and get on my knee and curl up into a little ball while I was videoing. And in some ways I do miss that. I'm going to go with the bullion, because he was like a little hot water bottle, especially in the winter months. Just the only problem here is making sure that you come in through the actual fabric, not missing it completely like I just did. What's happened there? Have I got it stuck around a bead? Don't know. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, and now he's just 2 now, so, well, he was 2 on New Year's Day. So he seems to have settled himself down, and he's quite happy to go and get on the sofa downstairs and have a little snooze. But Gertrude is a torment, to be fair. Even though she doesn't like him, she pretends she doesn't like him. So she has to go and evict him from said chair so she can get on it. Oh dear. But yes, in some of my early videos, they're chasing one another up and down the stairs, fighting and falling out. And Reggie's doing a little, like babies cry, puppies. It was a puppy cry, and he'd be crying because he couldn't get to her. Or right, I'm just putting the last one in. I haven't explained this at all, have I? I'm literally putting, like a jigsaw, putting all the pieces together and stitching down each edge till I get to the last one, and then I will show you. We'll pop a little bit of stuffing in it. I do tend to be, I get chatting and then forget to tell you what I'm doing, don't I? Because I was saying about my brother and his YouTube channel doing the pruning of the fruit trees, and I like to watch them because I do quite miss him, because obviously we don't pick up the phone or I don't go round. I don't see him that often, so it's nice to sort of see him doing his thing. He's messaged me today to say that he'd felled a great big tree, and the French were all a little bit confused because they just see this little fat bloke, fat English bloke, and they don't trust him, I don't think, to be able to fell a tree. But he has to explain that's his job. He used to teach. That's what he used to do. By the way, my brother Paul and his wife Caroline are famous, he keeps telling me. No, they've been on the it's a British show, and it's called A New Life in the Sun, and they've been on that several times. And like I say, they have a nursery over in France. And if you are on YouTube watching this, it might be worth a watch. And they are Les Jardins Créatifs, and Paul and Caroline, and they do all sorts of little workshops and things like that you can go for the day to make stained glass windows and bits and bobs for your garden, trellis or objet d'art, junk art, chicken wire, sculptures. Right, so I'm leaving a little, I'm going to go a bit further because I'm on the last one now. I'm just going to go a bit further down because I want to put some stuff in, but I don't want to have to stitch up too much. Let's pop you away. Don't want Gertrude to get you in here. So I've got a little bit of stuff in, and this is just any old bits of bobs. You can use bits from your art, should you wish, but I am not. Let me get a little tool. Do you know these? This is out of a plant, a stake out of a plant. It had the label on it on there, and had two plants, and I was planting them out, and I sort of pulled this out and thought, oh, I know what I'm going to use that for, as a little pokey tool. And my son, he just rolls his eyes and shakes his head at me, knowing that there's no, well, I don't know what he thinks. I'm not sure. I'm just going to go over that a bit more because it's come undone. Fray fabric. Bit of a fray fabric going on. I'm going to go back. I'm going to get a bit more stuff in. I bet you can't see this stuff in, to be fair. Don't go putting too big a bit in, just a little bit at a time. Talking of Harvey rolling his eyes and shaking his head at my little sort of we'd been on a walk and was just coming back, and I came through the gate, closed the gate behind me, and as I was coming back up towards the house, I bent down and picked up a little piece of moss that had obviously been thrown off the roof by, I would say, a bird using it to build his nest. Anyway, I picked it up and brought it in the house and then put it on the windowsill in the kitchen. And he just shook his head and he said, I'm not even going to ask Mum for what reason you brought that into the house. And I said, well, you don't have to ask, but I'll tell you. It's a study. I'm going to have a good old look at it and then put it back outside and see how I can recreate that in Stitch. So that's where, never ever think that you shouldn't be doing something. Always go with what you feel. I just like to see things. I like to observe them. It's called the art of noticing, isn't it? I can get a little tiny bit more stuffing in there. Just want it a little bit firmer. And I think when people are walking around with their heads, you know, on the phone, their eyes on their eyes on the phone, they're not noticing what's going on. You know, it's I don't think I'm going to get all that in there. It's something that you don't. The younger generation, or not even just the younger generation, people with the phone in the hand, you know, just looking at the screen. Here's a prime example. I drive to Edwinstowe with my daughter a few times in a month, and on one of the pillar boxes, which is a letterbox, the red letterboxes, the round ones. I'm explaining myself way too much here. There is a crocheted yarn bomb, and it is the Hungry Caterpillar. Before at Christmas, it was a little Christmas nativity scene, and every time I see it, and I go, oh! And my daughter is so busy texting or looking at her phone, she never sees them. And I just think it's quite sad, really, isn't it? Right, I'm going to stitch that up and snip off that. I'm going to pop that back in there. How adorable is that? It's gone a bit misshapen, but I'm not bothered. And also, you can see the you can see the purple of the pen, but I'm not too bothered. So I've got my little eggs for my Easter nest, and you guessed it, I'm going to make some and I'm going to make a nest for it out of my Ort. Oh, not with a needle, I'm not. Some things out of my Ort. So I'll need a piece of fabric, and I'm going to try and use a bit of this. Where was it? It was this, wasn't it? I'm going to make a bit of bunting, but I'm going to have that. I'm going to have that along there because I liked that. Get us some scissors, bigger scissors. Oh gosh, I need to turn this that way round. Sorry, everyone. Let's move the eggs out of the way. I really ought to make another egg because I like them in odd numbers, but I'm not on screen, otherwise we'll be here till next Easter. So I'm not sure whether or not the longer videos are better or the shorter videos are better, but I can't seem to keep them short, to be honest. I'm making some bunting. That's what I'm doing. I'm making some bunting. I'm just gonna, because I'm conscious that my arm's in the way, and I don't want you to be. And this is rough and ready bunting. I want it to be rough and ready. I'm not bothered about it being all hemmed and all that. I'm literally just going to make a nest to pop the eggs on. So how big will I want this nest? love that one with the button on, the thing on. Probably, I'm going to probably put it up there, look. So, okay, I know what I'm doing. Right, just going to get out a wad of my thread out of the auto jar. I'm just going to check that they'll go on it. Look. Oh, might do a bit bigger. Oh, that's quite a long thread going on there. Not that it matters. Right, I want to sort of make a little well in it, and I am going to now stitch it down. Let's use that bit of thread that I didn't like for the bullions. At least it won't get lost. I'll take out Gertrude's hair, and I'm just going to literally couch it down. So you know when I say to you, save these, save your threads, because they will come in handy. Here we are. So you can keep on, you can use it, save it. And I do think that it can be used in so many different ways. I mentioned already you can use it for stuffing. Back in the day they would save them and then start the fire. Use it to start as tinder to start their fire. I've seen people putting them out for the birds to use in their actual nesting. The only thing with that is do we put back into nature what comes from nature? You know, don't, or using sort of nylon threads and things like that. So just, and polyester, that would just be my concern. And I use a lot of silks and cottons, so I'd be quite happy putting mine out. But there's going to be some people out there that are going to say, no, don't do that, that's, you know, it's bad for them or whatever. I honestly, I don't know. So I'm just going to pull that in a little bit. Keep on stitching. Try not to stitch down too tightly. You want it to make a nest, a thread nest of, you know, nests aren't generally too neat, are they? So I am literally, look, that's how I'm done. I'm literally done. How quick was that? And it does look effective. Just going to stitch it down in the middle because you're not going to see that. I'm going to put our little eggs on. Cute. Just tie the knot up. Get rid of that. And I'm actually going to stitch this on with any old thread that I can find. I might use that beaded that I used for the beading. So just come up through your nest and through the bottom or the side of your egg, go back down, you might want to put 2 or 3 stitches in, just to secure it. Depends what you're doing with it. I mean, I can't imagine needing that much of a stitch. Which way up does that go? Don't really know. That's going to need stitching for, you know, that securely. That's what I'm trying to say. It just keep coming up through, back down with your stabbing stitches. I don't like to call them that, but it seems to be what people are calling them now. I might not put that 4th one in. What do they call the collective now for eggs? A clutch of eggs? Don't know. Is it a clutch? I know it's like a dozen or whatever, but it's. I want that bee. Oh, I love that little bee. Didn't realise that I'd done that. And that's going to sound mad, isn't it, to you guys? Because you're probably thinking, what are you on about? We've probably just done it the other day. I have. Or I've done them a couple. Where is it? Where's it gone? Don't know, but I feel like I might need to have another one in there. But I'm going to just stitch that down. But I forget what I've got on what. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't can never remember. And then when I come out, it's like a nice surprise. Come on. Can't. Wait. I'm just going to try and tie that knot a little bit more. And I'm making a right meal of that. So, yeah, I feel like I might want another one on there. But there's my little Easter nest of eggs. And you can wrap that around. I hope you like that. I think that's super cute. Look at that. Oh dear. I really love it. I'm just going to snip that off because there's a bit of beading thread and it wants to escape. Oh dear. So I'm sitting here with a great big grin on my face thinking, oh, that is so cute. If you've enjoyed this video, by the way, please do give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And of course, you can also hit that little notification bell that will tell you when I'm on here rambling away and stitching at the same time. So happy stitching, everybody, and I will see you all again soon in the next video. Bye bye.